do need to pay. Okay, it'll be $50. One cent we do, one cent we don't. So let me write your check.
Ciala yesterday, and she had I think she lost 20 pounds.
It remains just a single grain, but if it dies, it bears much fruit. Philosophical, theological speech from Jesus about how it's better to die than it is to live. The gospel of the Lord. Praise to
Philippians 2, we hear Paul say, by the way, I'm reading from the Lutheran Bible, now available on iPads, Android phones, complete with notes, available through Olive Tree. Cries and pain and despair and loneliness of those who cannot or will not kneel in worship themselves or kneel in other places for other reasons drive us to our knees.
And white robes, you know, with how many movies have you seen, you know, with the olive, you know, the kind of thing, you know, and oh, I've seen it. There's that little clue that you get in John's Gospel, but a drama through staging, through costuming and all that kind of stuff can up the ante on that, where Pilate now is the sort of Aryan, educated white person who reluctantly gives in to the Jews.
The lector reads the psalm, then the lector reads the second lesson. If that should happen, I want you to rise up, the whole assembly as one, and say, no, the proclamation of the psalm belongs to us.
Where did you get the little card here next to it?
And then you got the big benediction, the real benediction, and then you got the go in peace, serve the Lord, which is kind of like a benediction. I think it would be wise to look at that.
Various degrees of attention, of competence, of confidence, but they do it, and they don't need help.
Yeah, there is no place in the United States anymore where you can say man and make it seem to refer to all people.
Right.
Yeah.
That language is gone. If you use it yourself, that's fine, but in any kind of group that you're working with, you cannot be using.
Coming in, and let's face it, there's always an anchor alto. There's just anchors in every section of there. Notice I gave a nice line to the altos, because I never get any nice lines. And then basses, well, our basses, kind of the E orders of the section.
Experience for me to dwell on. When I read it in the morning, I wasn't being careful, and when I read verse 29, I said, wanting to justify himself. So now identification changes, because now anyone who wants to justify themselves when a Lutheran's reading is automatically suspect, because we are justified by God's grace. And so just that phrase, and that doesn't necessarily mean the same thing as what Paul means or what Luther means, but I can read it in English and have people thinking, oh yeah, well he's bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or we could do it during the gathering. Actually, you can go through the response line together.
Okay, you do it.
For the sake of mission, our first efforts at revitalizing worship in many congregations have focused on providing new styles, new idioms, and sometimes new creeds, new orders of service, and new media for proclaiming. In response to the downward trends in worship that accompanied the massive changes in the U.S. society since the 1960s, many congregations, I fear, took drastic turns without adequate thinking about implications.